training!
You guys are probably gonna hear a bunch of clicking noises as well because of my. Oh, he got me trapped because of my controller. Also, another thing you guys should probably keep in mind is never reload your gun. Even if it's 0 in the mag, just don't reload. Just switch your weapon if you need to. Even if it says reload, just switch your weapon or spam your grenades. So that way you get your ammo regen. Granted, I am playing by myself as well, so the enemies are going to be way weaker in comparison to going against, you know, enemies when I'm playing with other players. So pretty much everything is neutral as well, all neutral stats, so it'd be even faster if everything was, if I at least had elemental damage buffs or something. And yes, I am playing on offline, by the way, because I mean, apparently it's supposed to have a higher chance of spawning anointed enemies versus not playing offline. At least from my own experience, when I did play offline, I had like 8 anointed every wave of each round, which was pretty fun. Wish the sensitivity could actually be put a little higher, would be nice on the console. I don't like turning really slow. It's really slow. Sounds like a lot of popcorn just going off. What's going on, you guys? This is All Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you guys another Borderlands 3 build video. And with this build video I'm going to be giving you is going to be another Moze build, but this is going to be the top tier, definitely one of the best, if not the best mob clearing builds you'll probably ever use in this game, for Moze, obviously. So we're just going to go ahead and go right into it. I'm going to also go ahead and actually post the screenshots of the builds I'm using, or the abilities I'm using, so that way you guys can just, you know, use that if you don't really feel like sitting through the whole video and listening to me explain it. I sent you guys the screenshot. I'm gonna actually go ahead and show you guys the weapons, so you might want to stay here just for a little bit longer so you can see why I use these weapons and whatnot, and then I'm just gonna go and explain the abilities. So first things first is what weapons I use and shields and everything. So I use the Hive, I use Ruby's Wrath, I use Casual Flacker, Speed Load and Hellwalker, Health Rerouter, Desperate Enhanced Bloodletter, Rear Ender, Deathless, and the Recurring Hex. So for the reason why I use the Hive is because it puts out a lot of damage to multiple different enemies, and the thing is, you're gonna basically have unlimited ammo. You'll be able to keep spamming your Hive over and over and over. And the Hive with the Amp Shield, pretty much any of these with the Amp Shield, is super powerful because you get 120% extra damage, extra amp damage, with the cost of 50% of your shield. It'll just drain 50% of your shield, but you'll get that back really quick. So everything here is basically just, you only pull the trigger once and it does a lot of damage, right? With the Hive, when you shoot it, all those little spores are going to also be amped because it's still considered in that one shot that you just did. Ruby's Wrath, all of those shots that you shoot out are going to, it's also going to be amped. So the main reason why I'm using the Ruby's Wrath though is because it has the vortex. So it's basically a singularity grenade without me having to actually use a singularity grenade. Otherwise, I would just go ahead and use the anointed Ruby's Wrath because it's anointed and it gives me extra splash damage by 125% for a short amount of time. But that short time is about 5 seconds, like 5 to 10 seconds. So it's not really a long enough it's not a long enough buff, in my opinion, for me to really worry about it, because it's on Moze, so you'd have to go into Iron Bear like every 10 seconds and then come out, and it's just too much of a hassle to really worry about doing all that. So I'm not worried about anointed perks necessarily. The Casual Flacker is really good. It definitely a great, one of the most powerful shotguns in the game, if not one of the most powerful splash build or weapons in the game as well. There are also elemental flackers as well, so if you can get one that has radiation or fire, that would be incredibly powerful. Like you'd probably put out so much damage with it. And then a speed load and Hellwalker, just because it's a very powerful shotgun, especially with the amp shield, you're doing 120% more damage with the Hellwalker. Now, if you don't have the rerouter, I wouldn't really recommend using the the Hellwalker is still really good, but if you have the Butcher, I would highly recommend using the Butcher instead, because you will just instantly melt enemies with using just the Butcher. But the reason why I'm not using the Butcher is because I'm not going to have the shield, or maybe I guess I could technically still use this. My shield would be regenerating super quick, but yeah, I think the Hellwalker would just be a better fit for this particular build. But either way, you can go with either or, the Butcher, a Fire Butcher, or a Speed Load and Hellwalker. Now, obviously, I'm using the rerouter. You don't necessarily want to go with the health version because you're gonna be capped at 1 health bar. So having that 10% extra health is not gonna help you at all. If you can go with one that gives you like more shield or more damage or something else, then that'd be better. An anointed one that also benefits you. This one's for the Siren. I just ended up taking this out from the stash. I haven't given it to my Siren yet, and I don't think I will. But yeah, the rerouter is definitely a shield. An amp shield is something I would highly recommend pushing for. Otherwise, if you don't have the amp shield, then you can go with the Transformer, you can go with the Stopgap, or you can go with the Chameleon Frontloader. The Stopgap basically makes you immune for 5 seconds when your shield breaks, which is incredible. There's another shield that will start instantly recharge. Don't use that one with this build. The one when your shield depletes and your shield starts to regen right away. I wouldn't recommend it because your shield is not going to it's not going to regen. It's not going to regen quick enough before you get killed because you're only going to have 1 health bar. But Stopgap, it's going to make you immune to all damage for 5 seconds when your shield depletes. So it's a really good safety net. Now for the class mod, you're going to be going ahead and using the Bloodletter class mod. And the reason why is because this is going to be your source of survivability. you're going to be spamming grenades, and your grenades are going to be healing you. And you're also going to be spamming your splash weapons, so you'll be regenerating your grenades. They both just complement each other. Otherwise, you would probably just run a Blastmaster, because the Blastmaster will give you 100% more splash damage. But for me, like, the Splashmaster is amazing damage-wise, but survivability-wise, it's not going to be as great. You're just not going to be able to do much with it. And obviously, this one, I just wouldn't worry about using this. There's other class mods as well, but they're for Iron Bear. And for the legendary artifact, or just artifact in general, you want to get a deathless artifact, because this is going to allow you to go down to 1 health bar, but you get an increase of 100% shield capacity, 25% shield recharge rate, and 20% shield recharge delay. And what would be even more ideal is to get one that has the elemental effect. So elemental, I believe it's like elemental projector deathless is what you want to get, because elemental projector will allow you to get 183% damage boost, while deathless will give you that shield capacity, recharge rate, recharge delay with that 1 health cap. So I would highly recommend getting, obviously anyone that can get that would be a god roll pretty much. And then if it comes with like assault rifle damage or splash damage or something like that, heavy damage, grenade damage, fire damage, anything of those sorts, that would make this build even much stronger, much more powerful. And then the recurring hex grenade is definitely the best grenade, or one of the best grenades in the game for sure. If you don't have a recurring hex grenade, any hex grenade works, as long as it's not just like a regular hex grenade. Regular hex grenades kind of suck, but yeah, so like mitosis or the Merv hex or recurring hex. There's another one like Merv something, I don't remember, but apparently it's another really good hex grenade that I don't have, unfortunately. But any of them works. The cryo is really nice to have as well, but the issue with cryo is anointed enemies are immune to cryo damage. They're immune to freeze. So once you run into a anointed, you won't be able to really make use of the cryo. But it works great as a crowd control ability or grenade against ads. But radiation is also amazing to have, because it'll do damage over time to them, and then it'll have an aura of damage over time to nearby enemies. And if they die, it'll just float to another enemy. It's just like contagion, like contagion. It'll just keep floating around to multiple enemies while they're radiated. And then the electric is also amazing to have if, enemies have shields. This is going to be amazing to use because it just rips their shields off. But that's all for the weapons. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the abilities and why I'm using them. So I already showed you guys the screenshots of everything, but I'm going to go ahead and explain why I went into everything and why it's probably the most optimal way. So you're going to be building around incendiary damage, as you can see. So with this Cloud of Lead 5 out of 5, it's going to give you 11.25% incendiary damage for the 4th shot every time you do 4 shots. And I feel like that also applies to grenades. I'm not entirely sure, or maybe it's because of Fire in the Skag Den. Because Fire in the Skag Den, it says whenever Moze deals splash damage, she deals... Oh no, this one allows you to just deal more incendiary damage whenever you deal splash damage. So I'm just going to assume Cloud of Lead would apply to grenades as well, because I've seen my grenades... No, never mind. Just kidding. It's not the grenades. But it does apply to the Hive though. So whenever the Hive shoots out the fourth, what's it called, spore, it'll do incendiary damage, which is really nice. And then you're gonna also go with Stoke the Embers, which is gonna give you 30% incendiary damage bonus. And then you're gonna go with Redistribution, because this is gonna be the way you're gonna basically have unlimited ammo, never reload. And you're not gonna be going into anything else. The crit damage would definitely be amazing to use. But the thing about splash damage is you don't really hit crits with splash damage, and Scorching RPMs is not going to apply to the Pull the Holy Pin. Pull the Holy Pin, it applies crit damage, or yeah, it does crits, but any extra crit damage won't affect it. So if you have anything that boosts your splash damage or grenade damage or elemental damage, that would actually technically push your crit damage even higher. But yeah, so I went 4 out of 5 on Torg cross promotion just because of the fact that just because I needed it so I can get the extra points. Otherwise, you don't really need Torg the cross promotion. If you want to go with something else like Iron Bear stuff, you can. But really, Torg cross promotion would probably be the better bet because you're not going to really be worrying about using Iron Bear. Now, what I did do before was I actually I used Iron Bear by using Stainless Steel Bear and Auto Bear, and I used the Vanquisher Rocket Pod with target softening, and it works pretty well. It's kind of too much of a hassle going into Iron Bear and then ejecting all the time just so you can always apply the debuff. But I mean, the 15% damage debuff is still going to be really nice to have if you do want to go that route. And then for the Shield of Retribution, you're just going to go 5 out of 5 on Armored Infantry because that's going to give you increasing gun damage, which applies to your explosives. And then Flat Off Ingenuity and Thin Red Line is going to push your shield a lot higher. And then Experimental Munitions, anytime you do a crit, you're going to have increased in incendiary damage, and your grenades are going to be critting. So you're going to always have that extra 10% incendiary damage from that. And then Full Can of Whip-Ass, you're just going to use this for that quote-unquote oh shit moment, but you also need to put an extra point into something so you can unlock Desperate Measures. So Full Can of Whip-Ass is what I put it in, so that way if I'm playing with someone, or if I'm playing with a few other people and I notice their shield is down, or going down, I just go into Iron Bear and then their shield starts to instantly recharge. And then Desperate Measures is going to be very important because this gives you that bonus 83% gun damage if you are at 5 out of 3. If you're at 3 out of 3, it's going to be 50%. Now, this is going to be applied all the time, 100%, because you're going to have only one health bar. You're only going to have one health bar because of the artifact, artifact, and the Thin Red Line. If you have this at 5 out of 3, just this by itself will put you at one health bar. And yeah, so the lower your health bar, the more damage you basically do. And yeah, so what I normally do also is I just slot the V35 grenade launcher and then I put on the lock and speed load for the 5-round burst because it allows me to get my grenades back and whatnot. Because it counts as splash damage, so it works pretty well. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this video. Hopefully it helps you guys out. I will be posting obviously the gameplay right after this, but you know, if this helps you out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section and I will try my best to help you guys out at the best, you know, to the best of my possibility, or the best way I can, pretty much. Sorry, words. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this whole build video. Like I said, if this helped you out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is All Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and enjoy the rest of the clip. It's the last round. gonna actually go ahead and try using the butcher instead, because I actually like the butcher. Oh, there's another knighted. So I'm gonna quickly switch over from using the speed load in Hellwalker, if my menu wants to load a little quicker, to the hostile butcher. Frozen right now, man. Yeah, so the butcher is definitely really good with this type of build. Just due to the fact that I can't see though. Due to the fact that amp is super powerful. But, I mean, I still think the hive is just way better to use. It seems like the hive just melts. Everything that's hitting him right now is the amped spores. That is doing a lot of damage. It's insane compared to everything else. I mean, the flacker and the hive are basically the two only weapons you really need. You don't need to run any other weapons for any other reason. And if you really wanted to be lazy, you just stand in one spot. It got super melted. That's good. That was the last round, last wave. Because I didn't even realize that was the boss at first until I looked at the name. Got the wagon wheel. It's not that great though. Yeah, so that's basically the gameplay video of this build. Hopefully it's showcased pretty well on how pretty invincible you are. It's pretty crazy.